AL will begin today with the shopping list scenario for some teams we got on our list here. And obviously, pitching, and more pitching is your basic theme. Even with the Yankees, they'll lead with them first as far as the American League East is concerned. The Yankees need pitching. I mean, obviously, they got to get this LeMahieu thing straightened out. And if he does not sign, they're going to have to figure out how to replace him. Maybe Lindor, maybe Verducci. We'll talk about that a little later on. They need to do something about that. But let's put LeMahieu aside. Let's discuss it from a Yankee perspective on the mound. They're not going to touch the bullpen. Chapman's not as good as he was, but they have to live with him. With Britton, they keep their fingers crossed. If Chapman doesn't have it, they can flip it and let Britton be the closer. Bottom line is they're not touching the bullpen, but their everyday starting pitching after Garrett Cole is very much up in the air, and it sounds like they're going to go with sort of a hodgepodge. Jordan Montgomery, a couple of guys in the minor leagues who they hope. Garcia, who pitched in the playoff game last year, 1 inning. Maybe they give him a shot. Maybe they get Severino back. Herman when he returns. I mean, who knows? But the Yankees got a lot of question marks after their big guy at the top of the rotation. Do they bring back Tanaka? Do they go out and try to get themselves a serviceable starter to eat some innings? I'm not sure what the Yankees are going to do there. It all starts with LeMahieu. Once they get that done or not done, they will readdress it all. But their pitching is spotty. I mean, they got a lot of question marks. No Paxton, obviously. No J. Happ. Not that that's a great loss. You don't have him either. But the Yankees, who knows on Severino's return? Yankees got some issues pitching-wise, so they're number one. Toronto, obviously, has got the same scenario for them, too. Now, they're sort of tied into Springer. Who knows? Realmuto, who knows? A Lindor acquisition, who knows? But they need pitching. Ryu, of course, is pretty good. He's not an ace. Pearson's got a chance to be good, but there's Robbie Ray doesn't do it for me. If they want to go out there and they want to try to, make postseason and be a big-time factor in 2021, they got to get a starting pitcher somewhere along the way. They got to find one. Where are they going to do that? Who knows? How much money are they going to spend? Who knows? But they need to go out there right now and go spend some money on some pitching. They need some other things too, don't get me wrong, but that starting pitching is still a little spotty, top to bottom. Ryu's pretty good again, but they need some more pitching, of course, in line for the Blue Jays. That's number 2. Twins, well, listen, they're going to go with younger players in the outfield to fill in for Rosario, who they let go. They're going to hope Donaldson comes back and plays third base. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Cruz. Don't know if there's going to be a DH yet in the National League, and that's what he's waiting for, because if there is a DH, that opens up the market for him, but don't know where we stand there. But they need pitching, too. Barrios is okay. Pineda is okay. Maeda's pretty good, but, he's a third starter on a real good team. On the Twins, he's got to be higher than that, but they need more pitching. I mean, pitching, and more pitching for most of these teams, and the Twins could use some serviceable arms, too. Now, again, none of these teams, even the Yankees, are going to be in a run for Bauer, but the Twins could use a couple of other starters, and their bullpen's not great either. They lost May to the Mets. I would think they'd want to replace him. Taylor Rogers, he's not Mike Marshall coming out of that bullpen. Look him up, Evan Longoria. So they need some scenario pitching-wise, top to bottom. Not as badly as the Angels, who need pitching like you wouldn't believe. All right, Iglesias can help in the bullpen, 9th inning, I get it. But their starting pitching is horrendous, and they can't win right now. I don't care how many Hall of Famers they put on the ball club, whether it's Rendon, Trout, Ohtani. I'm not interested. They cannot win with Andrew Haney and, Dylan Bundy and guys like it's not possible. So they're going to have to go out there right now, and they're going to have to get some more pitching. Bauer would help. They need a lot of them, not just one. Bauer's going to cost a fortune. They spent a fortune last year on Rendon. They obviously got a big deal with Trout. They got a manager who's 67, 68 years of age. The Angels, although if they want to be really competitive next year and have a chance to win with a new GM, they got to find some arms. And I don't mean arms they got enough guys who can pitch 5 innings and win 10 games. They need a couple of big guys at the top of the rotation. Bauer would fill a huge need, but it's going to cost them, $180 million. They want to do that and then somebody else, I'm not so sure. But pitching, more pitching, and more pitching for the Angels from that standpoint. Oakland is not going to go in that department. The A's, of course, always have to worry about what they're going to spend financially in that ballpark and what's going to happen with that franchise down the road if they can't get that ballpark built. It's really an overriding question of the future of the A's, but they could use a shortstop if Simeon doesn't stay. They can always use some, ragamuffin players who sort of become diamonds in the rough. They're going to lose Liam Hendriks, so they need some help in the bullpen. Got a lot of young pitchers in the rotation. Maybe they develop and become real good. Who knows? It's a team that, will do what they have to do to try to be a pretty good ball club. They will always, overachieve. That's what the A's are all about. They're a good 162-game kind of team. They don't have the arsenal. They haven't shown they have. They don't have the arsenal to go out there and be a big threat come postseason. That's why they made that trade a few years ago for Jon Lester, and that didn't work either. Lester didn't pitch great in that wild card game in Kansas City. They had a lot of trouble pitching against the Astros. They got bombed there pitching. Again, the only guy who was any good was Hendricks. Everybody else was atrocious in that series with Houston, so they need pitching too. They're going to have to replace their closer, who's got some guts, pitched well for them in big spots last year in postseason play. But the A's, lots of questions there too. Folks, it comes down to pitching for all these teams, even the Yankees, and also finances. This is a scenario where the market's going to be very slow to develop. A lot of these teams don't have an incredible amount of money to spend. If the Yankees don't have that much money to spend, that's all you need to know. Except for the Mets, that's the way it is. And, finding bargain basement prices and sort of waiting out agents to get pitching is going to be a very interesting process as we move along here after the new year. So pitching for the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Twins, A's, and the Angels. I think the Angels might make a run. We'll get Bauer at the end of the day, but we shall see.